here in the Lavazza suite with Andre Agassi himself. Now, before we get into some tennis, we have to talk some coffee, of course. So, what do you prefer? You iced, hot coffee? What's your
depends what time of the day, man. You start my day in multiple espressos.
What is the most number of espresso shots you've had in a day?
Between me and you,
Yeah.
6.
Is that before going on the court or just a normal day? Or?
That's a rough night and a an important day.
Now, cream, sugar, just take it black, or
Yeah. I prefer to sweeten it a touch, definitely.
Now, you have a fairly common name, but do they often misspell your name when you order your coffee, or have you ever had any problems with that?
I always give an alias.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your go-to?
I'm not gonna say my alias.
I'll ruin the secret.
You're gonna stalk me if I do that.
That's very true. All right, so let's talk some tennis. Your first U.S. Open was back in 1986. What was some of your earliest memories being around the grounds here in Flushing Meadows and playing in the American Grand Slam?
I remember the absolute money that was spent just getting from the airport to my hotel room. All the people you had to tip, pay the cab, pay the bellman in the front, pay the bellman that brings your bags. So I was broke before I made it out to the grounds in 86. And then when I got out here, I was already 47 minutes late because I underestimated all the traffic. I lost my practice court. I had to wait all afternoon to get another one. And then I remember playing with the smell of hamburgers and French fries permeating the court. So a lot of obstacles to overcome that first year.
So you mentioned there the economics of being a young tennis player on the tour. What was it like on the flip side of that when you raised the trophy on a couple of different occasions here at the U.S. Open?
Well, to be clear, I had to get to the semis to break even at that stage of my life because it was. But no, it was a tournament that's added a great deal to my career, unquestionably. Winning it in '94 unseeded was one of the great accomplishments in my career. Returning and doing it again was just more, really. I mean, after winning this one time, it's like you just anxious to do it again, so doing it a couple times meant the world to me. Lost some heartbreaks, I've left my sweat, blood, and tears out there, and it's good and tough memories. But this crowd not only watched me grow up, they helped me grow up, and that's part of it I'm thankful for, and part of it was pretty tough.
Well, you talked about leaving your blood, sweat, and tears on the court. What does it take to string 7 matches together in a Grand Slam, 3 out of 5 against the best players in the world? What do you have to find within yourself to be able to put that kind of run together, and how does that differ from just any other tournament?
Well, tournaments, let's just talk about the slams. Everyone has their own demands and their own, nuance, their own texture, their own difficulties, challenges, if you will. New York is as tough as it gets for multiple reasons. Conditions can change, day to day, from wind now to roof to heat to all the above. I've always looked at you don't have to beat 7 guys. You have to beat one guy 7 times, and you have to be ready to go each time, and you have to have the versatility to adapt to different styles of play because it's not going to fall your way. You're going to have to deal with that one person that's going to give you a battle, and it's going to test your will, and then you're going to have to recover and come back. We saw it last night, with Nadal and team. So, it takes a lot of prep, a lot of preparation, and then, it takes a level of versatility, but it takes a commitment. You have to be ready for what's going to be asked of you, and it's not easy. A lot of pressure out there.
Now, you mentioned the Nadal versus team match that we saw yesterday evening go until past 2 in the morning. You had some iconic matches here in Arthur Ashe Stadium as well. You had a battle with James Blake. You had a battle in 2006 with Marcos Baghdatis and so many others. What do you remember about some of those late-night 5-set battles here in Arthur Ashe Stadium, the crowd behind you, and what is that experience like as not only a player but as an American fan favorite?
There's very few times as an athlete you can compete at that kind of level and actually be aware of the moment you're having at the same time. New York has a way of doing that. Night match at the Open has a way of having you, need to be at your best, having you be out there giving your best, but at the same time you're sort of kind of aware that this is so much bigger than just you. This is something that matters. It's something that's important to a lot of people, and it's a discipline to not have a complete out of body experience while you're going through it. And when I see guys do it like last night, I really have a full appreciation for what it takes.
Now, looking back on your tennis career, what are some of the other stories or moments from being here at the U.S. Open that you especially cherish or hold dear? Some of the other interactions with top players here on center court. What are some of those things that you remember most from this such a special slam?
I mean, I come back here and there's a flood of memories. Where do you even begin when you played this 21 consecutive years? It's a lot of heartbreaks. So ones that change your life not to the good, ones that left me kind of depleted and emotionally spent, and in some cases made me go on a walkabout. Others that changed your future. So you have those. I mean, I'll never forget playing Pete in the quarters here one year where we didn't break each other the whole match. We played for 4 straight hours, not one break a serve, 4 tiebreakers, and I remember starting that second 4-set tiebreaker. The entire crowd just decided to stop the match, stand on their feet, and applaud for about 2 minutes. It's like your hair standing on the back of your neck, and all you're thinking is, sit down, I'm concentrating, but then you're forced to stop and go, pretty darn special, So that a moment like that stands out. My retirement stands out, I mean, last place I played, a real tennis point, and so all of it kind of comes rushing back.
Now, you mentioned the longevity of your career. We see some of the players in the Big Three era now able to play longer into their careers. Why were you able to sustain such a high level of play, sustain such exceptional tennis over such a long period of time in an era where not too many other people were able to do so?
I believe because I was willing to invest in myself. I mean, I don't think anybody really in my sort of generation ever valued time off the hamster wheel, getting into the gym, taking time off, saying no to certain things, not playing certain events, even though it comes with a ranking hit or it comes with a fine or it comes with something. I was always willing to give myself those chunks of time where I could reboot mentally, reset, but also train and invest in my body and make sure I was ready to go again. And I didn't have a choice because I wasn't as gifted athletically as most of the guys I played against. I mean, I could ball strike, that's what I could do, but I had to work for everything I got out there, and that came off the court. And I think I was just willing to put that time and foresight into my game.
Now, one of the stories that I've heard about you that has always stood out to me from being close with Andy Roddick during my childhood was he said that you told him when he was 18 years old, when he asked what your biggest regret was, that you didn't start your foundation earlier enough. And that's something you're so incredibly passionate about, obviously. What inspired you to use all of the incredible memories that we discussed, all of your incredible accomplishments on the court, to now inspire the next generation of young people, both in your hometown community and all around the country?
Listen, I remember that trip. We were together, traveling. And for me, my foundation gave me my reason for what I put myself through on the tennis court. Like, I was never important enough to me to go out there and just win for that. Winning was just winning. After a certain point, it was just more. And it didn't inspire me. And I was always a person that needed to be inspired. And being able to use what I did to change the lives of others was inspirational to me, and I think that also gave me the chance to have a much longer career, and it gave me something to care about and to focus on long after tennis. So starting it earlier when I had the leverage, and that's what I was trying to impress upon Andy. You have the leverage now. You have the platform now. You have the tools now to make a difference, and one day, whether you recognize it not yet, one day that's going to matter more to you than just winning a title. And credit to him for not just remembering that, but for putting it into action, because what he's doing is I think a fantastic thing, and he's been a role model for so many others, and an inspiration to me in return. So it's nice to see how it all kind of comes full circle.
Well, Andre Agassi, a true legend, not only on the court but off it as well. Thank you for coming out to the Open once again, and thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks.